Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to day one of Gathering Threads, a dream that has seen fruition or reality as we celebrate National Handloom Day. 7th August is National Handloom Day across the nation, and we are very, very privileged that to celebrate this, we have amidst us this morning Shri Sanjay Garg, the founder of Raw Mango, and I would request Sanjay ji to come on stage with our chairperson, Mrs. Richa Agarwal, and our special moderator for this morning, Ms. Ina Puri. We would want to begin the occasion this morning by the traditional lighting of the lamp. So we will begin that by requesting all three of them. I think, Pramila ji, you are here in the auditorium. I can't see you in the dark. If you could please join us. I don't think Kushmita is here, but if you can join us, please. Thank you to everyone on stage. I would request our chairperson, Mrs. Richa Agarwal, to say a few words at the opening of Gathering Threads.
A very good morning, everyone. Why Gathering Threads and why really at the Kolkata Centre for Creativity? Why handloom? Why an art center talking is a lot of questions which I asked my team. We asked ourselves. I'm sure a lot of others had the same question. But really, why handlooms? Very simple, because at Kolkata Centre for Creativity, we celebrate life, we celebrate art, and we celebrate art as a way of life. Not just what we want to see on the walls. They're beautiful, they're gorgeous. A lot of work goes into it, but so does in what we wear. It's a whole community. It's amazing. And who better to start this day for us or this entire conversation? This is the first of many that we want to do. Who better than Sanjay? He has created, I mean, my personal favorite also, which I keep telling him. But he's created magic, he's created a community. And I think what was most beautiful was the whole elegance of wanting to wear a sari when the whole world was going very towards the West. We said that saris are still relevant. Indian weaves, Indian handlooms, Indian way of doing things are very relevant. The artisans, what they create is magical, takes a lot of effort. It's not something which is taught in textbooks. It's not something which has been probably done in a very formatted way. It's a language, it's an understanding which has moved from generation to generation. So there is an expertise, there's an understanding, but there is also constant learning and contemporarization. And I think that's where Ina Di, with the most elegant saris that she's been wearing for, I think, ever since I've known her, I've always admired what she's worn. My mother, my grandmother, my aunts, the ease with which they wore their clothes, the comfort, the sustainability. I mean, today we talk about laundering most of the clothes, but when you look at handlooms, most of them can be maintained by us in our own homes. We really don't need too much help. So there's a whole conversation which I think is missing, which me and more importantly the generation after us also should know. So I would request all of you all to please come up with your questions, talk about it, ask, because when you're asking a question, a room full of people are also learning. So please help us learn with you all, with each other. And I mean, this is really not an authority. I mean, I have no authority to talk on the subject. I'm just deeply very passionate about it. So I'm going to leave the day to all of you all to take it forward. Thank you all for being here. 10:30 in the morning is a tough call, I know, but thank you.
Before I hand over proceedings, I know neither of the people who are going to be in conversation need to be introduced, but I think the responsibility lies on me to do so. Where Ina Puri is concerned, she has been a luminous presence in India's cultural heritage. A writer, biographer, curator, and collector whose passion for the arts really knows no boundaries. She was based in Kolkata forever, and this is the place of her love, she says. Her work actually spans decades of documenting India's diverse artistic expressions, from tribal and folk traditions to contemporary movements. Through acclaimed books, award-winning films, and landmark exhibitions, Inadi crafts spaces where voices, stories, and visual legacies find really compassionate and enduring presences. Inadi, we are honored to have you here for Gathering Threads. The star of the morning. I know I'm embarrassing you, Sanjay, but still I think I have the right to do so. Hailing from Mubarakpur in Rajasthan, Sanjay Garg, as we know today, is the visionary who is behind Raw Mango, a label that today reimagines Indian handlooms with such poetic modernity. Trained in textile design, he launched his brand in 2008, working closely with over 450 artisans from Chanderi and beyond. Through vibrant palettes, historical motifs, and minimalist elegance, Sanjay has placed India's weaving legacy on a really global pedestal, blending heritage with a magnificent, refreshing contemporary voice. Sanjay, we are honored to have you amidst us this morning at KCC, and it's over to the both of you.
Thank you, Priyadarshini. Thank you, my dearest Richa, for everything you do and for your words. So relevant, so meaningful, and so straight from your heart. Thank you for that, and great to be here once again. I've had the pleasure of knowing Sanjay Garg for years now. But what makes the association even more special is the fact that on a very important day of my life, the day my son was getting married, there was no one I could turn to dress me, to drape me in, but Sanjay Garg. So not only for myself, but even for my daughter-in-law. And now I hope someday for my granddaughter, it'll be Sanjay Garg who will be draping us in his very special brand of saris. So I would like to begin with this memory that I've
just want to remind you of one more other moment, actually. You remember you came with a sari with a small peacock motif, and that is the most memorable moment because that's your Masi.
My mother's. My mother's sari.
Yeah?
Wedding sari.
Wedding sari. And we don't, like fix saris. So sari was torn, like it can't be worn anymore because it was like in many pieces. And she almost had tears in her eye. I was like, oh my God. And I think I have to do something. And that is a time when actually I had refixed the sari, which is now I made it wearable again. I think that is the moment, that's to me the most special thing. Yes. Because that's how I got to know you.
Yes, yes. So generationally, you have been a part of my life. And so, of course, saris, memories. But what is most important is when you began, Sanjay, today you've become a household, a global name. But that name itself, while others flaunt their names in designer houses, With you, Sanjay Garg, it's not like Sanjay Garg collection, it's the raw mango collection. Tell us about that.
Well, I do remember when I was a student of design, and I see page 3 pages that time, it was very much there, and then you used to see page 3 that I don't want to name them, but that's how they sold their brands and clothes. So I did not understand what was fashion doing. Fashion was about the glamour and partying. And I'm not saying doing partying is a bad thing, but it wasn't really speaking about the design. And other than that, if you really see in this country that the brands are very short-lived with the designer, right? When their designers are doing well is there, and after that is kind of, in their lifetime only the brands are, they're not doing well, and after they passing away, definitely no, we don't know how to run a brand. And you think of a West and think of a lot of European brand where the brand works for 150 years. They know how to work it. After designer is gone, then also, right? And they know how to create a brand, whether it's Prada or Luci, Loewe, da da da. I always thought that, I need to create something, kind of institution and system, not a personality driven something. It's a collection of a thought, aesthetic, a need, and it's not only me. I'm telling you, a 15-year ago, there are a lot of other people thought that way. And I tell you, let's say Paro, Borders, Lovebirds, me, Napadori, there are many more. There was kind of a very fresh air that no one really wanted to name their brands on their name. I think that was a time, that was kind of a change maker when Fashion Week had rejected us that, it's not fashion enough, it's just a textile. And now, can you imagine, they're celebrating textile days.
Yes.
Now, both the Fashion Week, they had to surrender, they had to understand that if you are just going to make gown and short dresses, which I have no problem with again, I mean, why not? But if they think that's the only fashion, this is what India is going to wear, I think they were very wrong. So that's what I'm trying to say, that, we did not look at fashion just a glamour, it was more than that.
Yeah.
And that is why it cannot be a personality-driven business.
And you were just telling me a little while ago that the India Art Fair now, it's your responsibility to take it to Hyderabad. That is fantastic.
Well, because I thought, okay, I think I'll answer you many things in one word. So when we say that how much the water in this glass, and if you can, the result of this is going to decided by the tool what you measure, whether it's a millimeter or it's a kilo, if baht bolte hain na English mein, or is an inch tape, then I'll tell you inch tape, right? So that's what the result is decided by the tool you are measuring it, okay? So when you use a word in English, you are a dancer, you are a cook, you are a magician, you are a designer. So that's what they separate us, a different medium. In India, there's no word for like that. We have a word called kala, a kalakar. Kalakar could be many multiple things. When you have one, let's say Durga Puja, there's a sculpture, there's a guy who is singing, there's everything, right? So there are many things come together. We blur the line in this country. And that is what I understood with the design. I did not see in a separation. It was the English word become a problem, the way you were mentioning or you were telling them this is what it is. And that was actually a problem. If you say in Hindi, as I said, the kalakar or kala, there were lines were already blurred. And this is all I wanted to do. I did not see that again in a separation. To me, we had a crazy youth party we had, then we have art fair, we had Shashi Tharoor speaking, we had Mawa Moitra, we have Ma Anand Sheila, who she tried to poison Osho Willis. And we had Danita Singh, we have Jeffrey Bawa book launch, we have multiple events at Ramango. They're nothing to do with textile and fashion. And that was I always saw that's a cultural hub and a space where you can talk about different things. And as I said, there's a reason why did I think like that, yeah.
Not just raw mango, but also I remember when we were talking about inviting you here and you were part of that conversation, you insisted that not orchids, but fresh bay leaf flowers, which is also so authentic and so from our roots. Going back to roots, you grew up in a small village in Rajasthan. seeing your grandmother, your mother in their daily saris as part of everyday life. How did these early memories shape what Raw Mango became? Subodh also talks about his childhood, incidentally, about growing up in Bihar and how the diya, the little things that he saw in his everyday life, the objects, somewhere influenced his way of making art.
Well, I come from a very, very humble village. I did my schooling in Hindi medium till 20th, when I was 20-year-old, and there was no other school, so I had to come to a city, district, or a capital, which is Jaipur. You know, I don't think so. Anyone taught me this is what it is. It just happened in everyday life. What I'm saying, it's kind of India is, as Gandhi said, the India lives in villages, and that is why kind of the museums are kind of a very failed institution, because we love tamasha, we love mela. Like if you see um, poor man or humble man, middle class, you see what kind of tamasha we enjoy. That's why you see the Durga Puja, how big it is, right? So actually we are playing it outside, not inside the museum. It's outside, and you see the participation of all kind of income group, the class, the age, and everything. And that's what I think India is. So I think I grew up without knowing what I'm learning. Is the only when you have a separation, you come to a city and then you miss, oh my God, this is what I meant that man. This is what I understood that, okay? This sari was only one of these. Lahariya meant that. Why there was a diagonal, you know? The diagonal design in sari not like very vertical, yes. Is very west. Why? What does kunya does? What is bhuta, motif, or thousand of things, like in the food also, why I never ate paneer. Being vegetarian, I hated paneer whole my life. Like what? Why? Because it did not come from culture. Why didn't have ever tomato in a food? Like so many things. I think design has become very anthropological if you think like that, and you start questioning, and then you see the difference of what you grew up with and what you see to get to see in a city. I think there you see it. So meaning you don't learn it because there's someone trying to teach you. It's just that happens is on.
But Sanjay, what was your first exposure to fashion? Which is the first fashion designer or the outfits that you saw? Was it in the city? Was it in Rajasthan itself? Was it in the fields, the beautiful ghagras that girls wore, the lehriya saris?
Yeah, I was definitely fascinated by them. The way, first of all, I say it's unapologetical mix of colors and patterns. And I so-called like to call myself minimalist, but I come from a place where minimal is like a joke. You know what I'm saying? If you really see, everyone is as much you bring it on, I'll wear it on. Like with the jewelry, the makeup and pattern. That's what I grew up seeing with. Again, I did not know what was fashion, but all I knew is very bindas. All I knew that it works on them very well. All I knew the color worked on that skin, which is like we all have this British tone. No, we are very white. No, we are very dark. So we have a perfect neutral, you know? Yes. Like we have a gray for a canvas. If you do a gallery, as I don't ever tell you. Yes. So we are like a perfect neutral light condition. We have like a bright light. So we need like, we can wear color. I think color, sabse zyada hum pe fakta hai. That's how I understood. But I think studying in Indian Institute of Craft and Design, and which they really brainwashed me, and I almost wanted to become an activist. And that really stuck to my head. I really wanted to question and change what was happening in fashion then. I was like, if out of 100 doctors, I'll give an example, if 95 doctors become dentists, what's going to happen with other 5 uh, department? Is kind of that if 100 students were coming out from NIFT, 95% wanted to make a gown or a dress. So it was in balance. Everyone wanted to make an embroidery. I'm not against embroidery, but I do need a balance. Do need a, what do you call it? You know, to see in their work. If after farming we are the biggest community which weave, then if I don't see the representation in fashion and design, that's the problem. So I kind of, those kind of things I wanted to change. So I always love Indira Gandhi or Gandhi on that matter. I am sound
also
very...
her aesthetics were very strong.
So amazing. And I, of course, got to meet Mapu. And I sound very old-fashioned, but I have collected so many photos of her. And I was like, everyone used to ask me, when do you want to be born again? I said, 1947. I was
Yes.
like, I want to change things.
Yes.
That's very much stuck in my head.
Yes.
And this pride of India and that can't design change something. I was like, if my parents were so against me to study in design, like not is this is not as common as in Bengal versus Rajasthan. No one wants us to encourage to go design and art. It's like,
It
what are
was
you going to
very
do?
newfangled. I mean, people wouldn't even know how.
Everyone want to discourage us, so it's very different than the West Bengal. What I'm saying,
But
you.
Sanjay, your father supported you by giving you 90,000 rupees.
That's
That's also
right.
a fact.
There's a small story because I did a project with Chanderi. I mean, in Chanderi with the government help, and whatever design I made, I showed to Jaya Jetli ji. I think she's going to come tomorrow, and Jaya said, "Okay, they looks great, and why don't you show in my stall?" I said, "Okay, fine." I went to my viewer. My viewer said, "No one is going to buy the design. They look so plain and simple. We are not investing in. You said it. Now you take care of it." Then I asked my father, I have really promised, sir, you have to grant me some money. And that was a day. 90,000, I remember a gentleman said, I want to buy everything. So Jaya said, I asked Jaya, what should I do? She said, do teen guna paise bada do. I did 2.5 times, 3 times, and he said, pack everything. And I was surprised. That was it. The brand was born. I did not
And
know.
did you name it Draw Mango then?
Not actually then, maybe, or maybe it wasn't formalized then, but there something was cooking up, yeah, but not really. And I remember that show happened in the Victoria Hall in Mumbai, that Shivaji Museum.
Yes.
And JR remembers that very well.
So, the thread that connects, you've always said that handloom is not just about making cloth, it's about keeping something alive. What is that something?
Okay, I think I'll answer a little different when Richaji was saying, we have, as we know, there is a lot of discussion going on what language we speak in today, right? And the food where we come from. And imagine everyone speaking one language. Imagine everyone dress up, let's say, in Nike or Reebok or one kind. Then the world become very boring. Imagine you eat every day same food. You will be bored. So I think the pehchan come from the way you dress, your identity, you what you eat, and what you speak. I think they're very very integral part of human being. And I think that what handloom does provide us an identity. It's just not a weaving is identity. You can identify by the certain weave and textile where you come from, what area. It did not happen overnight. I mean, why wool was not successful in Bengal, let's say, and why they are only karigar of wool in Kashmir, right? And there's why Jamdani happened here or Tant, but not in Rajasthan. We don't even know how to weave, only do case, which is very thick because we don't grow cotton, we don't have water. So everything is just not handloom, guys. It's so much of I don't know. There is like a क्या कहते हैं ना? There's a book, encyclopedia of information. If someone wants to know, there's so much gone into it. In every textile, you can just read by it.
Yes.
So that's why handloom is just not the piece of textile.
Quick question to the present and the future moment. You're opening a store here in Kolkata.
That's right.
Will you be bringing a different line? I'm asking as a person who loves your work, and is there something to look forward to that is different from your usual?
Well, we already working in Bengal. We continuously working with different. We are working actually in Venkatgiri. So like that.
But this particular sari
This
is
is
mushroom.
of course going to be there. So this is Pochampalli. This is I told you the story just now. The Suraya Appa gave me the samples.
Suraya Appa from Hyderabad.
From Hyderabad, she dedicated her life. Suraya Bose, by the way, I don't know. She was married to Mr. Netaji's nephew. And she died, I think, around when 94, 95. And I used to go to her in Hyderabad. She worked on two very important textile, mushroom and himru. And she had tons of samples. And she gave me chupchap se because no one wanted to give me in her thing. I said, just take care of it. And I started after when she's gone, and we cracked it in there. Other thing which I do not like to do is that I do not like to do Bengal, even in Kolkata if it's not woven. I'm very old school of thought. So I could have done it in Varanasi, but never, never, ever. I would only like to do things where it is from.
So Pochampalli would be from
only,
Andhra?
Only Andhra. And Oriya will be very different. And again, whenever I want to design, then I also ask myself, what am I bringing on the table? If I am not bringing anything else other than what they have, then I'm mere a trader. So
Correct.
if I'm not bringing
Absolutely.
something else than existing, then I do not a right to exist in that market. So
Right.
this one, they never wore this. If I don't know, people will notice the satin fabric is very different than a plain weave. So they did not do it ever before. That is why I did this. So pattern could be similar, but the feel and textile will be
Is
very,
very
very different.
different. Talking about the table, I remember an incident at Raw Mango where food was being served. And there was this incredible menu that you had then explored and, we got to taste. So how did that happen? How did food make its way into Raw Mango store?
Oh my God.
Your sister was also
Yeah,
a
my
part of
sister
it.
is very interested. As I said, I think if I was a designer, I would love to be anthropologist. Okay,
Yes.
let me tell you a very small thing. Let's say edible flower or a salad leaf.
Yes.
When you learn, as I discussed the flower, which we did not finish it, when I loved the fun fauna, I was like, why they importing orchid? But the orchid, it needs so much of, looking after, and then it's so expensive. And if you really talk about sustainability, you can't be talking about sustainability wearing a tan sari or putting an orchid, and you saying it's natural, but it just is not natural. It's more than that. You're creating a carbon print. So we have started putting, if you have noticed, the mogra flower from day one in a store, and wherever we went, we got I have visited every single flower mandi of every city. That's my passion. First,
Have you visited the one in Kolkata?
Not yet, have not my.
I have to take you there. It's the
I
best.
know, I know,
It's
and I wanted to reading is the largest.
the Howrah
We have
flower.
documented it
Yes.
with other colleague of mine, but I haven't not been there. Actually, I wanted to do a dinner here also for Roming or 10th year. It did not happen then, but now I will do it. But coming to the food, again, the food plays a very important role. And what we know, if we like to eat a salad, we only know rocket and other, So I was in Badmer, and I realized that there was chidiya ka khana on the boundary. I was like, what is it? I found the arugula was indigenous of Badmer region. I could not believe. And that's eaten by bird food. They call it a bird food.
But here it's
Here it is, and that's what it is. So other than that, what you can eat, let's say karonda. Do you add karonda here? Karonda?
yes.
So
Of
have
course
you
we have
eaten the
karonda
karonda
here.
flower? It is so yummy. My sister just went to the Sundarban, and other day, I don't know what she did, like pumpkin leaf. She plucked all the pumpkin leaf and did something it and made a sag out of it with the mustard oil. I was like, loved it.
We have it in Bengal
Exactly,
actually.
that's what I'm saying. She learned
Kumro
from
shag.
that.
Yes,
So that's what I'm
pumpkin.
trying to say. And the madam sitting, I've never eaten the most amazing food at Priyanka's house. She served me the most amazing food.
She's an amazing
Right?
hostess and a
I
great
always said
cook.
that the mustard, I just started eating prawn mustard, and I think that should be the world
Yes,
delicacy.
yes.
So kind of that is as important. I said what you eat, what you
Also,
wear
I'm just barging
is
into the
as important.
conversation,
Yeah.
Sanjay, is that also you might have tasted at Priyanka's, is the skin of the vegetable is sometimes used as part of as part of the prepared dish, and it's very, very tasty. Otherwise, you think, oh, you just throw off the
Yeah.
skin.
I've not
But
eaten
here,
that, but yeah.
Priyanka,
Okay,
next time.
okay, next time.
Working with artisans, when you first went to the weavers with your minimalistic designs, they thought you were slightly crazy. How did you convince them? Convince them that this is the way forward? How was that
I said
experience?
it many times before, nothing convinces them. First of all, the idea, what convinces them is a good business. I always said that one thing I would like to say, I did not want to become a jholawala. I did not want to say that the money is bad thing. I wanted to have a good car. I thought money is not bad, it's going to help you. Either you do this way, you become an artist and say, you take a pride, I don't know how the money works. So what you're doing is, you do not want to understand it, you go with a begging bowl to a rich person, and who's doing in whatever medium, let's not question that. Like, you have an NGO, but you're going to America, which is earning the money by selling the arms. So what is the deal? I really wanted to be on my feet. And that is the reason I think what give them confidence is that if it is sells in the market, you create a lucrative business, you create a business for 24/7. Chanderi was only sold in that particular time, which was summer. We created something which could be also gave them a business in winter uh, and the time like of a monsoon. I think that would survive. You cannot tell them, oh, it is my heritage and please live for me, please suffer. You should eat less and my son will be a computer engineer and your need to be weaver because you need to save my heritage. I think that is the problem. I think the problem is that the way we think is going to sell by sympathy or just by aesthetic or some just by talking, it won't happen. It will happen if you create a business and sustainable model where he also wants to send his kids to English medium, and they also some of them actually in Chanderi have AC and car in Varanasi, and that has happened. It has happened. The wages have gone 10 times because they don't want to tell you don't need to tell them what is good for them. They have enough brain to decide for them.
Yeah.
I think what they need is that financial power.
Just a curious question. You're coming to Kolkata. Are you aware of the boutiques and the stores in Kolkata? There is one particular store that I have been visiting from the time I was in college. It's called Kanishka's.
I've not been, but I've heard.
And so it was our place to go to, we who were in university then and wanted to dress differently and hugely affordable. But so Kanishka's been around forever. And ditto, so many other, Anando's there. There are so many other
Rakhi's
designers, Rakhi Sarkars.
Yeah.
I saw Asmani here. Bappa Bailu has
We
taken...
started together.
Yes, you started together and Bappa is doing incredibly well
Yeah.
now. And he's also moved to having art exhibitions, painting chintz. So Bailoom is also going places.
I absolutely agree. And as I said, and I really want to say that again, and that's the challenge for a wearer and to maker. If I'm not bringing something else on the table, I don't have a right to exist. I cannot work on a sympathy that merely, oh, you should buy so it help me and you. It does not work that way. It's going to put me in as that I need to create something cooler. As Priyanka or you write in a certain way, or there are so many gallery, but how do you create another room for another gallery? You have a different curation, you have a different eye, you put it together,
Yes.
we put it the same Bengali food differently and curate it and serve it. And that's what it is.
But Sanjay, your curation also appeals to a lot of people, including Kiran Rao, Shabana. I mean, so many people wear your saris, wear it in many different ways. That itself is very interesting. And I mean, do you give them hints or it's for them to decide how they want to wear it?
I mean, at the beginning, I mean, when we have sometime campaign or some way people wear it, they look it from there. I mean, just
Yes.
now, honestly, I don't know you want to know, but not a single penny is given to any of the artists. They did it just by love.
Yes.
What is going on our page, Raw Mango page, everyone just did it. Like Shabana was so kind that she fed every single team of
Yes.
team of Raw Mango.
Yes.
So I mean, there are so many people. What I think is, see, like in cinema, there is I don't want to say that, there is a designer, a certain kind of design, and there's another parallel design movement happening. So same with cinema. There is always a cinema of commercial, and then there is always a parallel cinema, right? There are so many people who are working from, let's say Vishal Bhardwaj somehow bridged the gap somewhere, but there are so many other people who are working in cinema but not the so-called mainstream. Same as fashion. I think they understand you, they understand your language, they understand the intention, and they are there for you.
Also, it's very trendy. Your clothes are extremely, very, very trendy. In fact, yeah, that also.
I don't know. I mean, see, the trend is a very crucial word, and that's why as a Raw Mango, we never went to a fashion week or anything with a sari. The minute you create a trend, the trend burst like a bubble.
Yet people went to the fashion shows in raw mango saris. So, Sanjay, coming to your advertising campaigns, even that has a stamp that is very different. I mean, you see a lot of it today on Insta, on Facebook, etc. But where raw mango advertising is concerned, they stand out.
Very simply, when I started, I was so stubborn. As I told you, there was a bit of activist, which I wasn't, but it always stayed in my head. I said, I want to do something, and I do not want these models to be staying in a flamingo poses. I said, where do I go and look for references? We did not have any fashion references. So how do we create one? So we did not shoot for fashion designer for first 5 to 6 years. There were only people from Indian Express or Hindu, I remember. There were journalists who were shooting my campaign. And that became very relatable. And why should I do that? We are a country of storytelling, you know that. If we don't tell a story, if we don't tell a myth, then who else is going to be? And that's what it is. People say, oh, where do you get the idea? I said, I don't think so I can say enough of ideas in one life. And you know that. If I say you just tell a story about Bengal, I think lifetime is not enough. Simply. So you have story to tell. You have a big audience. And I also knew that I wanted to create a different references. Let's say Ashish is now become a famous photographer. He just shot for McQueen and Louis Vuitton just now, and many other magazines. There's a kid who's working, he has a dirty magazine now, Chitiz. He worked with us for 5-6 magazine, 5-6 of campaign. And there are many more. And there is Aditya.
Someone from here, yeah, Aditya's here.
Yeah, Tito has joined for the Bengal. He just did that.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
we
right.
have a whole team.
Yes. But stunning. They are completely stunning. A question that often is asked of you is, of course, what inspires a new collection? And this is something that you do so regularly. It's not churning out. It's not about, doing something for the sake of doing something new. It is actually a line that, and like I was telling you, a lot of your saris are, are worn over the years. So there is that as well.
Yeah.
So then how does a new line come about?
Okay, I think the inspiration, let's talk about it. Inspiration is misunderstood that it is going to come when you go to see Taj Mahal or a beautiful temple.
Yeah.
It's just not beauty what inspires you.
Yeah.
I think my work have been with me kind of in a dialogue and engagement. I express through the work, whether it's a photo, whether it's a textile. So many time is anger actually. So many time is a rebel that if lime green is told that is Gamaru color, I'm going to make it sophisticated. Things like that. If handloom is not cool enough or glamorous enough for the event, then I take that as a challenge. I think it's enough glamorous we did Children of the Night. So every single time is just not the beauty actually. A lot of anger, a lot of things you want to say and communicate. It's like you, when you want to write, the kalam become the sword. It's kind of that. It's very personal, but I can tell story every single time. There's always that dwan is not a negative word. When you enter, there's always a right and left.
Yes.
So kind of that dwan keeps you going. The questioning keeps you going. I think that's what it is. Inspiration is just not mere about aesthetics.
So you've come in today from Hyderabad, and you've had a very successful event there, and your store is being talked about. You're in Kolkata today, there is a store opening here, and then you're back to Delhi. So factoring all of this in, how is a regular day in your life, Sanjay? Just tell me, do you do yoga in the morning?
No,
What do you
absolutely
do
not. Everyone think that's also happened because I work with India and so much, listen to the music. Anything against logo. I am so high on energy. Sometimes I have to calm it down. How do I calm it down? I don't know. When I was a student, I used to come to NIFT, and there's 1.5 travel by bus, and I was staying in a Delhi Kent. Now you know Delhi, so I can tell you. Foam hojkas with everything. I used to dance first for 1 hour on the radio, and then cook, and then eat. So there was always, I think, I have a high energy problem.
Yes.
And when I actually don't have that energy, then I survive on the high. I think I don't want to calm down. The only anxiety I have is a retirement or relax or something. I don't know. When I don't have it, I miss it and I talk about it, but I think I live on this,
Sanjay, how about your parents? What do they make of your success?
Nothing. They say, ये से हमारी नहीं बनेगी. I don't think they understand it all. Every time they say, हाँ ये हमारी साड़ी लग रही है. मैंने बोला तभी नहीं हो रहा है कुछ भी. That's how India understand कि ये साड़ी तो सब है. I said, not every handloom saree is mine first of all. You have to understand. Honestly, I'm telling you. I mean, they're very proud. She wore it. So I don't think so more than that. So many times, they do not even know. I mean, my father would not pay five. Like, he just has no clue. He doesn't know where I've reached or anything. And it's good that way, honestly. He yell at me, scream at me. I don't
But you
think
know,
so.
they could have had a point when they said it is a raw mango and it is your sari. It could have been a fake.
I mean, that is there, that is,
What do you
but
make of this
sometimes,
whole?
that I understand, okay, it's fake, but it's roaming aesthetic. Sometimes it's not. And that's what I was like, and when I tell you something else, when they go to a market, they say, ye to bahut mehenga, ye to sasta mil raha hai. I said, dude, please, can you stop doing it? Everyone going to do it with your son too. If you do not respect design and what is the value of design, then no one else going to pay me. And that is, I think, problem lies in this country. When our kids are a designer, we want them to pay, but when become your, we are so okay to buy an imitation in this country. It is so inbuilt in our culture, a chair. We do not know who designed that chair or this lamp or this or a mic or sound. I don't know. We somewhere I don't know why did we miss that. Or the artist. We one copy the artist style and then you just okay with it. And people are okay with to pay less and to in the house. Or let's say play the music or copying is become so normal. It's so okay. And we say that of course we say, oh, I can't afford the original, so this is what it is. It's a bit of a gray area which I have not understood ever. But there is.
So, is there any chance of a publication coming out, something on the designs of raw mango down the years?
I don't know. I don't know yet.
Maybe
We,
someday.
we were thinking of few books, but we thought, okay, because we are not going to make money, it has to happen in a year. It's taking like 3-4 years.
Okay, thank you for
One
that.
book. So we are in middle of it.
Any questions? Richa, Priyanka's here. Anyone? We covered a host of subjects here, and I'm now wondering if anyone from Kolkata has any questions to ask. I know there are weavers here, there are people who admire
Yes,
your
please.
work. I can't see anybody, sadly, because the light is in my eyes.
Hello. Yeah. Hi. My question to you is what you consider as the biggest threat to the handloom industry in current time?
Uh, many. There's some I would like to name. Handloom A, one is a producer, but if someone producer, no one else is consuming, then that's a threat. And how do we increase the consumption of it, right? One, our last generation think that handloom is supposed to be worn this way only. That sometimes can be a problem. Handloom is a certain aesthetic or a jhola, that can be another problem, right? If you need to grow, as I said, like Sanskrit is a died language today because they did not took word from outside, did not grow. English, Oxford add word every year. So you need to be flowing river where you add on new thing. What was sari when we started, when a woman started wearing it was very different than today. I think one cannot fix it. This is what handloom is. I think that is one. So it need to change its shape and length or width. Everyone has to have their own different idea of it. One and second will be the price point. I think we need to create. Please understand, India is not as easy. It's not Sweden where certain people or 50% people are above that category of earning group. So you can just produce. People can afford it. India has varied income group. We have the poorest people and the richest people. I think that is why people are not anymore of each other. Let's say you have many store. I think we need multiple avenues where handloom is sold on different price point, different aesthetic and different type. I think that will survive actually. History was what I don't, I'm not trying to say the handloom is this way only. I think it's kind of a pyramid. It has to be different price point, different aesthetic, and also worn differently. Handloom, I am sure everyone knows, just not cotton. you know. And when the Indian government was introducing handloom there, they were compulsory to wear in a military. It was earlier, I think, if I'm not wrong. It wasn't pure cotton because it wasn't very versatile then. They had mixed a poly or something in it. There's, we should be open to a few of the ideas, what I'm saying. I'm more liberal that way. I'm 100% making handloom, but I think only way is going to survive is that need to be open enough for changes. I'm not scared of changes, what I'm saying. Yes, please.
So, Sanjay, I have two questions for you. One is in this time of modernization and speed. A lot of industries are moving towards more modernization, more machinery. We are talking about handloom, which is a very person-intensive industry. Also, the costs are higher. So, really, what is the future here, and where does one really understand that how do we still make sure that we talk about handloom in a larger sense and the importance versus understanding the quality between a handloom and a machine made something? And the second question, also on a similar line, is that we are talking about fusion continuously. There's fusion in food, there is fusion in almost everything that one can think of. With your sensibilities, where you're talking about creating something from where it belongs, when you spoke about Pochampalli or when we spoke about what you weave in the eastern part of the country, really, what is your take on this fusion where of possibilities? Is it to get the best out of each and amalgamate and create one masterpiece, or is it each has your own masterpiece?
I will answer you first. You said about the modern, how is it going?
Yeah.
I think, how do we know whether it's handloom or not? I've been saying that it need to be on a very academic level, meaning we need to learn in school. If we know about Rabi और खरीफ की फसल होता है, मैंने हिंदी में पढ़ा था. There is, what do you call in English? There is Rabi or Kharif, meaning गर्मी की. So like that crop, right? So yeah, so if I know that, I'm not farmer's kid, so how do you know about handloom? कढ़वा क्या होता है, कटवर क्या होता है, जामदानी क्या होती है, certain aesthetic, सांगानेर booty same size, same is in a shawl, same is in Lucknow sari, and same is Varanasi. Why similar sensibility, but if woven differently with different yarn, look different? You know what you're wearing right now? Chanderi silk, Varanasi silk, Kanjivaram silk. All are same Mulberry silk, but we are not aware. We've been told this is Kanjivaram silk, you can fight about it. कि मेरी सिल्क अलग है तेरी अलग है बट जबकि मलबरी सिल्क है is the way you put it, permutation combination makes it different, the drape makes it different, not the silk. So that is one that you get aware. Second, you said is getting very expensive. And I definitely agree with you, and I can't agree with you more when you talk about the Birkin bag and you talk about, um, what is luxury is going to be in India and what has happened to Japan. Very, very few people left. So that time going to come where like 10 people only left to make that particular sari. Actually, that happened with the Patan Patola in Gujarat. But suddenly now someone had cracked it differently and they're producing in like 1/50th of the price. So if, are we waiting for that time, or I think the craft is going to be very high end. So what I'm trying to say that question is on designer, that how, if you're selling it a very high end and which is giving competition to say Loewe or Dior in India, what is that special about that handloom, right? And I think there you need an awareness and the skill set which is required. One should know that what is a difference between chicken curry, which is all over pattern, but that is not enough. You can't just pay the price for because it's all over design. How it is woven, what are the tanka, what is the size, what is the fabric it is done. So I think is all related to that. So there is a big problem when you talk about a very high-end craftsmanship and also masses. That is, to me, is a difficult task. I think, as I said, they're going to be different in India, different price point, different skill set. That is only going to survive. That's the only solution, one. Second, you said about the amalgamation. Okay, I'm asking you this question, throwing you back. Do you eat at home where You have every single food. I mean, other than khichdi, we don't have anything like little dosa, little mustard thing, and little. You don't eat in one plate like that. There's no such thing, according to me, where you put in a plate little every recipe and you make one. It's not going to taste good. I think it's kind of that balance. You know it, right? You know it there where how much fusion or confusion is okay, right? To not to kill it. It's like someone said that to know how to play with something, like if you do not know saregama, all the 7 ragas, you don't have a right to play or create, or like to fracture it, you know how to build it.
Build it again, yeah.
That's all. So when you build it, and then you can fracture it. I think that is a missing point. When you know how to cook it, then you know what rhythm, what balance you can play with. I think same with handloom.
Does Ushmita have a question?
Yes.
Hi, Sanjay. Hi, Nadi.
Hi,
I came in the middle of your talk, so I kind of missed the beginning. I don't know whether this was addressed, but you were mentioning about the design aspect, or how you're working with the artisans and creating a new kind of a perspective or a language that can be self-sustainable for the community. But I was just recently looking at this article on Muga silk, which is now getting very rare because of the climate change and because of the problems. And the artisans also are facing a lot of problem in the material itself. So does the question that Richa also asked, or what you also said, where does that lead us? What do you do in that kind of a scenario? What kind of help is provided, or what materials does then this kind of a fusion of different materials come together? Or how do you help the artisans in those cases?
I don't want to sound that weird, but it's kind of, I just heard very recently that, or let me give my example. When I was in Chanderi and everyone thought that he's a designer, they said, मेरी बेटी का पैर में, she was like, मेरी बेटी अपंग है और उसको job नहीं मिल रहा, आप कुछ नहीं कर रहे हो. So I was like, sir, not a government person. I have very limited hand, it's not my job, but they understood that I could do that. So what I'm trying to say, that environmentally what's happening, I don't think so I can do a lot in that, but I can definitely look into it, what is given to me at the moment. For that is a very, very big picture. I need all of you. I think we're all part of it, that how do we save it, right? And so I think I don't think so I can change the Munga yarn, but I can definitely look into it, what can be done next. Meaning, let's say, as I said, there was no mushroom ikat left right now because I don't know the story behind it. So it's only worn by a Muslim man because they were not allowed to wear a pure silk. So they wore like a little bit, so this require a cotton weft, which is touches your body, and on upper hand there's a silk. And Himru is pure cotton brocade. That is what Himru is. Himru is no different. It's just that brocade made in cotton. Women could wear anything, and they could wear jewelry or gold, but men were not allowed. So, by the royalties and all, it died. There are no more royalties of in Deccan area, and it's only limited to, what do you call Gujarati thing? The choli and the lenga, the charan choli, chaniya choli. So they just limited to that, and they were making that in rayon. So there I definitely thought, if it's making in rayon and it's such a thick material, and you cannot wear in a warm weather, because that was only worn by a man as a trouser or something, not worn by everyday people, right? So I needed to design something which is good for the weather kind. So mushroom sari, there's nothing called mushroom sari ever exist before. So we made a first textile where the base fabric is normal basic weave, and mushroom was woven only on the border. So that's why mushroom sari happened. So these kind of things, people think is traditional, today is not. So there I was not agreeing with the tradition, but I created something, a product diversification, which completely not traditional thing. So things like that, like how much to to take it from the tradition and how much to take it forward. I would love to look at the Muga silk, and I think we need to diversify whether they really want to do the whole sari in that fabric or just it can be woven because it's a limited quantity just on the border. I think one need to study that, what I'm saying. What kind of yarn, what kind of spinning is available right now. It's get very technical. I don't have a very like a quick answer, but I would love to look into it. We have woven actually airy silk some 8 years ago in Chanderi and did very well for winters. Mulberry warp and airy weft. And everyone thought it's cotton. You know that this is the only silk which looks very woolly and cottonish. And we had it and it did very well.
So I'm a big fan of both the man and the brand Raw Mango.
Okay.
And something that I've been seeing, and very much from the very first year, first month, I might have, things from 16, 17 years ago when you started. And a lesson for someone who also comes from a handloom family background, a lesson that Raw Mango has to teach many of us is how to make that brand relevant, how to stay close to being a handloom, mostly sari-oriented brand, but something that is so cool, so edgy, so in with the time, something that I think many handloom practitioners need to learn. I'm just curious, I've never asked you personally, should have, how much of your time gets spent in thinking about the building of this brand, Raw Mango?
A lot, actually. I won't be lying on this. I have a team of designer, 14 designer textile and apparel, and they're every day with them. But this graphic, the communication was become very important, See, I did not have a godfather in this country to give me a break. And the way the fashion council think, I don't think that they gave me any support, honestly. And it was very difficult that how do I be very provocative on the social media and connect to people like you who are like-minded. And I myself wanted to become a graphic designer. And that's how, that is a long story, I don't want to get into it. So a lot of time goes into it. Like on this handloom, I did not want to go sympathy way. That's how we have this all the girls, even including Shabana, screaming handloom. We just wanted to have fun because that's the only way. Whatever they spoke about sad thing, I said, I don't want it. It's kind of a sad story and dying. It doesn't die in my head. You know what I'm saying? I want a happy ending. I think happy. I think positive. I'm so much with enthusiastic about handloom, and I don't think so. I even started. So what is it? And that's what it is. I have certain energy where I want to pass it on, and you think is happening is great. And honestly, if you think not a one thing is made out of handloom, but if it looks different to you, then other handloom is great. I think every handloom wala we need to think. We need to think how the Bengali sari or drape can be so cool that people want to wear it today. Why? As you know that, guys, everyone knows that sari wasn't 6.5 meter, and we know it. We actually killed the sari. Sari was 3.5 meter to 9.5 meter and varied in different width as well. People are not confident to take sari. Now sari is wearing them. Not sari. You're not wearing a sari. Sari is wearing you. That's how we should say, because everyone have their own drape and style. And there was the individuality came into it. People wanted to be sexy, or they just didn't have a petticoat until there they want to show their legs, or they did not wear it, where to show, what to show, and item number. I have to say this, Mother Teresa had to wear a sari because she wanted to get communicated. Very simple. And even the Mother Mary is shown in a sari. These things I love to study. Can you see the power of a sari? Because they want to, I'm not saying a convert or whatever, but if they wanted to promote or communicate it, she had to be seen in a sari. Look at the power of the garment. Even the Jain monk is wearing a sari, so is the prime minister, and so is a item number girl have to wear a sari on a dance floor. It is so interesting. So how many avatar we have? Like so many. And it's worn so many different ways. What do we choose and how do we make it our, I think, question and us?
You also experimented with the satin petticoats, I remember.
Yes, I did.
At one point.
That is, yeah.
Which I have also, actually.
Hi again. My question is that since last few years we see a surge in embracing handloom, especially in the form of sarees in women. And I have, being a handloom sari buyer myself, I have seen the surge in pricing. I think price point is discussed in one of the past questions. Surge in pricing in last few years. So I have two questions regarding this issue. First is that if handloom sarees are now being sold at a higher price cap, then why our weavers are still not doing well? They are quitting their profession because they are not making enough money to sustain, because ultimately they are the real artists who have sustained the art of weaving, who have carried on the legacy. And I know that later the designers and people who revamped the weaves and they took it to the market and celebrated it, like you are one of them. But ultimately it is the weavers who have preserved it and they have carried on the legacy. So why are they still not doing well? They don't have enough money and
I would
they
love,
are.
I would love to answer.
And another question,
Okay,
sorry,
please.
sorry to interrupt you. And the second is being interacted with Bengal weavers myself in past shows and exhibitions. One issue came up to light, like mixed fabrics, mixed threads, like polyester mixed with cottons are actively being pushed on the weavers by the local thread suppliers and everything. So what you as a designer, I'm sure that it is happening everywhere. So what you as a designer think should be done, I mean, making a council or approaching government to take steps to stop this, uh, to be done to sustain the pure fabrics and pure hand weaving. These are the
Okay,
two questions.
I'll
Thank you.
would like to answer. First of all, when you say my viewer, have you spoken to any of my viewer? My question is not every viewer in working in this country are my viewer. And I think that's the problem. Of course, I cannot take guarantee of the country. You know how many people we have. You should talk about my viewer, yes, that you're most welcome to come. The wages have gone 10 times. And as I said, I did say they have AC and car. They do have. And I'm not saying every viewer has it. This viewer is in America, by the way, right now, Govardhan. And all the kids, no, none of their kids are working, by the way. And it's a very complicated question. The minute they have money, they don't want their kids to go in the same thing. It is so much, I don't have an answer. We both need to solve it, first of all. So this one, all the three brothers, like Murli and everyone is doing in Andhra, but none of their kids are here. They're all married outside. They're all computer engineer. So that is one. So my viewer, see, I deal with, let's say, 1,200 viewer, but we have many, many lakhs. So I cannot answer, but of course the effects are, ripple effects, and you can see the impression in terms of design. So when I say, let's say, Chanderi sari, let me give you example. My contribution can be limited. When you say Chanderi, you're helping a brand called Chanderi, okay? Chanderi is not, raw mango is one part, but if raw mango is selling Chanderi and Chanderi is becoming a new thing that is helping the whole Chanderi region. So this is only my contribution can be. And after 2 years or something, they copy certain design, there's a ripple effect comes, or new introduction of yarn or a thing come, that's how it can help. So that is one on the weaver part. Second part you said is getting too expensive. No, you said about the yarn, different material. I don't think so that will be the right thing. As I did say, I think what is the right thing, if they communicate what it is on it and they put a label, that is the right thing. If they selling you something not silk as silk, then it's a problem. If they're selling you something polyester silk and selling you like that only, then they're not doing anything wrong. There's no rule in this country where you can say this is what is pure fabric and this is not pure fabric. You can argue with that. Like you like to like to wear a pure fabric, but maybe I would not like to do it. You have a privilege to wash and iron so many times or send it to dry clean. Maybe I am not. So that is become that. So it is could be, and I'm not saying I'm not the one. I'm also, let's say, privileged and elite, but that become a very privileged and elite question to ask them that, okay, you cannot produce pure fabric. I think it only survived when we were not interested. I have to share this with you. When all the privileged and elite were not interested in Varanasi, it survived because it was made on a power loom in a worst of the way, and 1,200 rupee a sari can worn by someone who's helping at a home. And I think they helped us survive actually. They wore a fake sari, but they only wore Varanasi. But we looked away and we wore something else which was more fashionable and dictated by whether a media or Bollywood or anything. So we keep changing. They did it in name of culture. They did not know how pure it was, but they did it because that's what's supposed to do by them. And they actually follow the rule. So I do remember I had exactly the same problem when I started. No one should do the power loom, but who the hell I am? There is so much of audiences, let's say, people work at home or in Varanasi or Bihar. Look at the size of the market. They do not want to iron it. They do not have that much money. Do you rather you want to sell them the printed sari or polyester or brocade polyester sari, which can be bought in 1500? I am making handloom and I'm saying I'm okay with that as long as they're wearing that. The day they have my money, they will have money. I think they can go to the market and they know the difference and they buy the original one then. As long as we tell them what it is and we put on the label is fine. The lady in the orange, yeah.
I think we have time for just one more
Yeah.
question, and the lady in orange.
Thank you. Thanks for this lovely discussion. I wanted to ask, when a generation of women starts discovering how beautiful it is to drape a sari, how has been the interaction between raw mango and such kind of women, and how have you taught them to embrace this kind of beauty?
You saying the first time wearer sari?
Yes, the younger generation.
I mean, it varies. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, some takes a lot of time. I think a lot of them starts if they are inclined towards art and or they're learning dance or something, they do it. Or there are a certain family they always wore it. There are people who wear. A lot of people actually wear on their graduation first day. I get to meet them, and a lot of people. Yeah, I think kind of that. I don't think so. Convincing won't help, honestly. I mean, they come. I mean, I met so many of youngsters who wants to buy, and I think they've already seen on the page that it looks cool and it's cool to wear sari, it's powerful to wear sari. Other than that, I didn't think convincing going to help any which ways. We have done it our job on my page, or the brand have done it. I think it's in their hands now.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much. Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you, KCC,
Thank you, everyone.
once again. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much for giving us such an amazing beginning to Gathering Threads, Sanjay. We will be forever grateful. I have the honor of inviting our chairperson, Mrs. Richa Agarwal, to felicitate you on behalf of KCC. It's matched, the bag design is matching with Richa's sari design. Inadi, you have to wait a little for yours because you are here with us for 2 days. We are not letting you go. Yes, much, much longer. Thank you so much, Sanjay ji. Thank you, Inadi. We'll take a short break for just 5 minutes because our guests for the next session have already arrived. They have been beyond punctual. They are with us already. If you would like to catch a cup of tea or coffee outside, you're most welcome to do that. We reconvene in exactly 10 minutes because our guests are already here.